Hell yeah, that's done really well, isn't it?
Last year, I dug and installed my own swimming pool, plus designed, welded up and installed my own motorised folding pool cover. But I have to confess, I've got a big problem. My wife can't use the cover. A normal user needs to have a good idea about how to use an SDS drill, how to wind up each jack at each end so it's at the same height. They need to know how to manually winch it in using the winch controller. It's basically a very high level of entry that my wife doesn't want to do. I want her to be able to walk up to this, press a button and it do all of it itself. So I realised I had to solve 6 completely different engineering challenges. It wasn't just adding a motor, it had to become lighter, lift itself, think for itself, know when it was safe to move, wire everything together reliably, and finally be simple enough that my wife could use it just with the press of a button.
I'm going to have to learn a little bit about computing, code, actuators, limit switches, and in this little box here is where salvation lies. Now, a lot of you are going to be very learned when it comes to this sort of thing. Look, I'm totally new to this, please bear with me.
So a basic sequence of what I want is Emily comes along, presses the button, the brain of the system, the computer, knows that the cover is closed. It can then move on to step 2, which is raising the apex up so we can safely draw the winch in. It needs to know that the apex is raised up before it can turn the winch on and then safely winch it in on part 3. Crucially, it needs to know when to stop when it's fully open, otherwise it's just going to destroy the cover. And 5, it has to do it in reverse and also have a few safety features I'll talk about later in the video.
Firstly, I need to run everything off a 12-volt battery. I've got that in the house. I also need a way to turn the whole system on and off from 12-volt battery, so that's this here. Then after that, I've got a distribution board here that's going to have fuses in there that will be going to all the different components that I've got on the system. Now, I said in that video that the first thing I would need to do to run the brain is this little Raspberry Pi here. This is the power supply for the Raspberry Pi. And then also I've got this like little breakout board here, soldered in myself couple of nights ago, and I'm very proud of myself on stuff like that. Requires quite a lot of patience when you're an old man like me. So this breakout board here is meant to send very, very low voltage signals to a relay, which is this thing here, and the relay switches out 12-volt lives. From that, I've got a load of these limit switches here that when the cover is in certain positions that will either allow certain parts of the process to continue or warn me that it's not safe to continue and that I'll have to do something physically to the cover for it to work. So for instance, if the cover's open already, it will be open and this will be clicked back, and that means it will not send power to the winch to winch it further open because it'll have nowhere to go. Things like that, safeties. A hell of a project this is going to be, guys, so please don't go anywhere. So where is all this going to live? Well, I've actually, since we've done all this, you see I've done a lovely little bit of foaming in here. The pool is currently 34 degrees and it has been all winter. Because of all the solar panels and the extra bits and pieces that I've put on the system, it's literally cost me no extra.
Also, I'm hoping my fully automated pool cover will be powered largely by the EcoFlow Stream Ultra. I'm also planning to use it to power my office next door and pair it with solar panels, and this came in very handy later on in the video. You won't believe how.
Our little box, our controller, will be in here with the open button. We've got over 100 kilos of metal laying on top here, which is a lot. If I replace this for a plastic cover, it's going to be a fraction of the weight and a lot safer.
Taking the cover off is probably one of my favourite ever jobs that I've ever done, honestly. But every one of these sheets I took off, I was like, oh my God, they're so heavy. And I thought, what I'm taking off now in weight is surely going to make this cover work better in the future. We'll just have to see.
That is some of the brightest thing I've ever looked at. It's brighter than a sunny day after you've had loads of snow in winter. Ow. Ooh. What I'm now going to do is test that the actuators I've bought, these are 12-volt actuators, will they have the guts to lift up the apex of this? The stuff we're going to be putting on is plastic. It's way lighter. It's going to be literally 10%, I'd say, than what we've got on here. So that's going to allow me to firstly put another 50 mil of insulation in the top here, keeping it warmer, making it more efficient. But also it's going to allow me to use actuators that aren't the strongest, the best or anything like that, but they're going to do the job.
So after a lot of faffing about, moment of truth number 1, would the activators lift the cover apex up and down safely when bolted to the side?
Hell yeah, that's done really well, isn't it? So there's our apex now. I hope that's high enough. When lowering, we just reverse the polarity. So if I put that on there and this on here, it should go down again. Okay, cool. Right, we know that works. This one is IP65 rated, so it's fine to be out in the weather, but it's going to be undercover. It's going to be safe for the entirety of its little life. Grab it now from the bottom underneath. go. That's it. This alone weighs about 10 kilos. I could tell you that because it's sort of, actually no, it's probably about 5 kilos maybe.
I could now fully install the actuator where I wanted to, which was actually a little bit further back towards the hinges, which meant that I'd get a slight bit higher apex as well. I cut out the old metalwork for the old jacks, and then, having broken my hot knife, had to come up with an ingenious way to do it using my soldering torch and a big old kitchen knife from the missus.
Don't breathe the fumes. See what, hasn't worked too bad at all, has it?
I thought it was a great idea to get as much insulation on while the cover top was off, and also get any nooks and crannies filled up with some X-Pro. Perfect timing as an absolutely lovely South African bloke came to drop off my polycarbonate sheets, kindly supplied by the guys at National Plastics, and I'll leave a link to the sheets that I used in the description below.
Is it going to be really floppy?
No,
Oh,
but that one is. That one's the bugger.
I'm trying to think if I can get this through a normal door.
The good thing about this is that I was able to put my first sheet on because they'd actually got the exact sizes that I needed in one whole sheet for the pool cover. No joins needed. And on this side of the pool cover, I wasn't fitting any actuators or anything like that. The other advantage of using plastic isn't just because it's light, it's just so much easier to cut. My little Bosch 12-volt circular saw just chomped through it without any trouble whatsoever, and I was even able to use the old screws that I'd had from the metal cladding to screw the new lightweight plastic cladding down. It was great to get one whole half on, literally within the space of an hour.
Right, so I've got both the actuator arms in and I've tested them to know that they lift everything up. I've got our conduit pipes in as well, so I know that they're all out of the way. Now what we're going to do before I put the polycarbonate cover on is we're going to start to actually build the box up, the control box, so I can actually start to get this thing programmed properly and get it lifting. And our on and off is here. Wow, I'm so glad I got this. That's fitting in nicely. Just needs a little bit of gunk in the back, let that go off, and then we've got a nice little box to actually get everything fitted into. We've got the computer brain distribution bit with fuses in it. We've got 2 of these going in. These are our reverse solenoid relays. Power shut off from the battery, which I'll probably just put on the outside of this actually, so that doesn't need to live in here. And this button lock as well, that is actually going to be remote, so it's nice and easy to get at. So that's going to be up, that's going to be close, and that's going to be emergency stop.
I'm not going to lie, I faffed about with the positions on where to put these in this box multiple times, just thinking if the wires go here, they cross over there and it will get all in the way and blah, 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 blah. So let's have a look how I'm actually intending this to work electronically. Firstly, we've got our car battery that has a much higher output going to the winch than the old 12-volt transformer I was using. This battery will be topped up using a standard wall plug charger. Let me know if you think that's a good idea or not. From here, we'll have a dedicated power supply going to the winch, but I'll come down the winch is controlled in a minute. The live supply goes up through our switch into our fuse board and then is stepped down to a 5-volt supply for our Raspberry Pi, a common 12-volt supply to be switched out of the back of our relay, and also a 12-volt to be thrown one way or another so we can bring our actuators in and out. So now let's get down to wiring all of this lot up. The beady-eyed among you will notice there's actually 2 reverse polarity solenoids there, and also they're probably a bit too chunky for this job. So whilst I'm wiring all this up, what is the logic that's going to run the Raspberry Pi and eventually in a physical sense automate the folding pool cover? So the Raspberry Pi needs to know the current state. Let's start from closed. It will know that because of the apex limit switch. Someone comes along and presses the open button. The Pi sends a tiny signal to the relay, which sends a 12-volt signal to the red side of the reverse solenoid, thus winding down the linear actuators. The Pi then looks for a signal from the apex up limit switch. If it doesn't see this, it will show a fault. But normally the apex limit switch will prove, it'll wait 10 seconds, and then the Pi will send a tiny signal to the relay, which in turn will send a 12-volt supply to the winch in terminal. I hope you're following me, guys. It really is actually quite simple. The Pi will now look for the pool cover open limit switch. As soon as that proves, it will turn off the supply to the winch and then sit in the open state. I want the middle button to be an emergency button, and we'll cover that in a minute.
And if you want to know how I got all this to work and programmed it into a Raspberry Pi with the knowledge that I have when it comes to computing, well, I think you know how it happened. It was, of course, here
at ChatGPT. Hours and hours of typing prompts into ChatGPT just to find out that I needed to learn a thing called Python code to load into the back end of the SD card and then put into the Raspberry Pi. And a great help through this process was the fact that we'd had a massive power cut in our area that had been going on for ages, and I didn't even know about it because my whole shed runs off my EcoFlow Stream Ultra battery, supplemented with an EcoFlow Delta 3 Plus. Now you might be wondering what this has actually got to do with this video. Well, EcoFlow are the sponsors of this video, but also people who've been watching earlier videos in the swimming pool vids will know that their batteries are powering my whole swimming pool. I've even updated my EcoFlow install by shoving a new Ultra in the shed. So if you look here, we'll see we've got the main house with an Ultra and a load of the Stream Pros that you saw me install in the earlier videos, but also we've now got the shed proper, which is currently drawing nothing from the house whatsoever because we're just running on the batteries that we charged up overnight, and soon we'll be charging up off solar panels. If you go over to my Octopus, you'll see I had £9.81 of usage that week, but we also sent back £5.98, which means we're running at about £4 a week, and I'm heating up a whole swimming pool. Mental. I've also got one other little thing to show you later in this video that goes perfectly with a swimming pool. But needless to say, without this battery backup, I would not have been able to sit there for hours on end putting repeated dumb requests into ChatGPT, eventually ending up with my first bench test. When the pool cover is closed, this will go and say, yeah, I'm closed. When the pool cover is successfully opened and it's fully retracted, this will close and go, yep, I'm fully retracted. And this piece here is when the actuators have risen our apex up successfully, this will let go, and that's seen as a safety. If that hasn't let go, it will never turn the winch on. Winch out is like the green or red colour LED on here. Pulling the winch in and opening the pool cover. Winch out is the blue one. So this is shut because the pool cover's shut. This is shut because the apex isn't up. So let's just open it up by pressing the open button with my nose. Right, so it's now opening, the apex is lifting up, then this here lifts up like that, that sees it and then says, right, we can start the winch. So we're now winching in, the whole pool cover's moving open, and also that is now retracting our legs that we had open on the apex a minute ago, and then it opens, it opens, it opens. As we get more open, this is going to start pressing back to the fence because our pool cover's opening, and then as soon as I do that, this should go out. If I press this, this should go out straight away. There we go, so that's out. So now, let's say we now want to shut it. So now we go like that, boom. So now that's winding out. And then obviously that's going to go like that because it's moving away from the fence. Over time, the first thing to click back will be this because the apex is now back down, like that. And then as soon as this shuts like that, we'll turn the winch on. There we go. Wow. Works. So now I know that it works in theory. All I have to do is actually physically fit all the components onto the frame itself. This took a lot longer than anticipated, especially planning to get all the wires down to the actual pool cover from our control box area without it looking absolutely dreadful. I only really wanted to use one conduit here, and you guys know the best way to do that is to grab yourself a nice little Bosch handheld hoover and suck a string through and then pull your wires back through there. And always remember, when you pull your wires back through, suck a longer string back through with it as well, like you can see I'm doing here. You never know when you might need it. And obviously make sure afterwards that you do a nice little hoovering up. Once I've done that, I just got all my conduit fitted in down to the other linear actuator and also the motor. One thing, to get the motor winching in and out, I just took apart the old winch switches and wired my winch out and winch in directly into the corresponding ones from the old switch. Once I'd got the control box out and screwed it into place, that's when I really felt like this lot was coming together. And a small surge of pride. Oh, mummy. I've never done anything like this in my life. I'm not 100% sure this is going to work. Probably understand why. I mean, look at it. Look at the state of this area at the moment. It's a complete state. But I'm doing laptop, Python code. I've got all my little limit switches here. Okay, they're not all fully done yet, but they all seem to be switching and doing limiting and, you know, sort of what I'd expect them to do. Now, I think because I've done that, I need to think about getting the cover on. So for obvious reasons, I don't want to swamp this channel with images of my son, but you guys have got to see this. He's into absolutely everything at the moment. He's always with daddy trying to come to work. And one thing he's addicted to is a screwger. And he noticed something here that I didn't. What a big help my little Tedster was. Check it out. Have them almost meet in the middle, please. Right, come back about so you can fit your finger in. Where is it? Where? Oh, Emily, round of applause for Teddy. Well done. He knew the screwdriver was under there. Well done. Come here. Mwah. Well done, Ted. That was really good. Well done. Well, I know, not on there.
So all the cladding is now on. I've got it all on. I love the way it looks. Anyway, I'm now going to get the trims on around the sides here. I just want to show you this little silicone gun that I've got to do it with. So some would say it's overkill. I think if you're doing silicone in all day, this is actually really good. So on the back here, we've got a speed dial that will sort of, if I'm doing like normal silicone in, I'll set that to 1. When you take off the trigger, this actually comes back a bit. Exactly like you do when you sort of pop the clip off on the back of a normal silicone gun, because you don't want the silicone to keep coming out and going on the floor. So generally I'd probably use the little 4 amp hour battery on this because it's a little bit lighter. To retract this, you just hold that in like that, pull that back, and then you can load up your silicone. So I pop the silicone in there and it stays housed. Standard Stanley knife, just give it a... Everyone always says I'm going to cut myself doing this. I don't really know how, but maybe I will one day. This is the way I've always done this. Right, so here's what we're finishing with, just this here, and that'll cover up all my horrible mistakes. I mean, if you're putting a lot out like this, yeah, this gun's amazing. I really think this looks great. I think it looks so much better than the old stuff. And it's so much lighter than the metal. You think the metal, I'd say, yeah, 150 kilos that winch was lifting up. Now, I don't think we've got more than 10.
Now I just wanted to consolidate all my wires into a special waterproof box, or as waterproof as I could make it, so that everything is safely out of the way.
Great thing about this is you can get in these little nooks and crannies. Oh, funny, look. Done and dusted. Doesn't she look beautiful? But as you guys know, the proof is in the pudding, is it not? And the pudding is in the form of my darling wife being able to do this herself. By the way, anyone else tell that I used to be a cricket groundsman? Anyway, where is she? Let's have a look. Ah, darling, 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 darling. Ah, you love being on camera, don't you?
I love it.
Look at that, that's a microphone. Come with me, I want you to use the pool cover. Look at her, resplendent from the gym earlier today, and also with a bit of a cold. She does love me, really, don't you, darling? Darling?
Darling.
Darling, we're leaving.
Yeah.
It's very simple. We've got the top button to open it, the bottom button to close it, and the middle button to emergency stop. After that, you can press the top and the bottom for 5 seconds, and then you use the top or the bottom button to winch it in or out manually, but you don't need to worry about that. All I want you to do is use the thing. Right, so you've had extensive training now, darling. What button are you gonna press? The top one, the white one, yeah? Right, so what did you used to have to do? The jacks.
The drill.
Yeah, you used to have to use a drill. You used to have to manually winch it in to the right position. Now, it should be all different for you, my gorgeous girl. Right, come on, press the button. But hey, here we go. Look, there we go. Actuator's lifting on its own. Cover lifting up. Now we should cut in. There we go. And there we go, the actuator's winching back up again on their own, so they're safely out of the way when it opens up. Are you loving this, darling?
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Paul's just ready to jump in now, and it is an absolute scorcher of a day.
No, I don't have to rely on you to open it.
No, you're right, you don't have to rely on me anymore. So, yeah, that's it. This is another reason for you to get a divorce now, isn't it?
Do I get everything then?
You probably would actually, like these days. Here's the open limit one, so when this clicks, that should be it, it should be open. Boom. There we go, get your kit off, girl. In you go.
I'll get my kit off yet.
Is that better than last time?
Yeah.
Do you love me?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Time for a little refreshment.
Oh, finally, it's a beautiful day. The pool is open. Got people round having a couple of beers. It's been bloody great. And one thing that's made it absolutely brilliant, this thing here has been saving my bacon. Actually look at this at the moment, I don't know if you can see that. It's 1 degree. 99 hours left on the battery. Show you that in a minute as well. Open it that way. Oh, hello. Hello, you. Or you can open it that way. Hello, you. And you can take the lid off if you like and just have it as like a big old ice bucket. So here comes Dane. By the way, the pool is 32 degrees at the moment. Open that up, that we should see a lot of blue. Oh, hello. We've got -1, -4. You can have one.
That is very cold.
Look at that, lovely. You can have that, are you? Just use your teeth, Dane.
And I've got a crown there now.
Yeah, that's what happens.
don't do
isn't
that,
it? Don't. Look at that, man. Dana, what do you think of this for quickly?
I think it's fantastic.
Sweet, isn't it?
Really, really, yeah.
So you can plug it into the mains there if you want. Look, push that in.
Oh,
There's your battery. Push that out.
nice one.
There's your battery.
And is that
Seriously,
weight
mate.
load bearing? Did you sit on that?
Oh, I've sat on it.
Yeah.
Emily hasn't.
In the next video, I'm going to be making my own bespoke radiator, trying to solve the horrible problem of towel radiators not giving out enough heat, looking dreadful, by CNC laser cutting my own radiator, welding it together, getting it all powder coated, and seeing if I can actually break into the radiator manufacturer's market. So don't go anywhere for that, guys, and also check out all the other videos I've done on this swimming pool build as well. See you in the next video, guys. Hold tight!